Okay, well, here is the new DIY decor kit. Isn't it lovely, y'all? I love it. It celebrates spring. It says bless this home on it. And I really wanted to do something that I thought would be very giftable, right? Mother's Day is coming up. If you just need a little something to give to someone in your life, I just thought it was so beautiful and so pretty. So we are going to be doing napkin art tonight, which y'all know I love. That's my jam. I love it. And I'm going to show you the back. So see the little watering can there, the little pots, the terracotta pots, all the things. And then look here on the back, the little rain boots, the little basket of flowers. It's just so cute. And then we've got some really pretty, this little Swiss dot ribbon, kind of an aqua color there. And these beautiful flowers. I love these flowers, y'all. They are so cute. So this is what we're going to be making tonight. Okay. This is what we're going to be making tonight. It's your favorite? Oh, well, that's awesome. And thank you for sprinkling. Thank you so much. I think it's beautiful. I just really, really love how it turned out. So I'm super excited to make it with y'all tonight. Now we've already been selling this kit. We had people pre-order it. We've been selling it, but we worked really hard to make sure that we had lots of kits available for you. So if you're interested in a kit, I did post the link to purchase a kit up in the description on this post. And I'll go ahead and post it here. Whoops. I'm going to go ahead and post it here in the group in the comments as well before we get started, because I want to show you everything that's in the kit. Okay. So let me grab this link here for you real fast. I'm not sure if any of my team members were able to watch tonight. So I think it's just me, girls. I think y'all get me. Okay, let's see here. Okay. All right, now I can get this posted and then we can get to work. Okay, so I'm posting it in the comments right now. No pressure to purchase. I just want you to have it and let you know that they are available. We are not going to be doing another round on this kit. So when these are gone, they are gone. Okay. So just putting that out there. So if you order the kit, first off, it is a 5x7. It's 5 inches across by 7 inches high, by 1.5 inches deep. So it is a chunky wood house. These are chunky wood houses that we custom cut. And I just love them because it's a bigger size and they're nice because they can stand on their own. They also look adorable if you want to put them on, like this is a little painted out candlestick. If you want to put them on a riser or something like that, they're just so cute for a cute little shelf sitter, maybe something to go on your tiered tray. Or again, I think that would make an awesome gift. Okay. So here we go. Are you ready? I'm going to go ahead and show you while y'all are sprinkling. I'm going to go ahead and show you what's actually in the kit. This is how it will come packaged. It'll have a label on it. Mine doesn't. We just didn't want to waste a label on the one they were giving me. So it'll have a label on it just like that. Well, you'll have to envision the label. And then when you open up, and I'm going to go ahead and slide everything out of the kit here. When you open it up, you're going to see that you're going to have a chunky wood house, 5x7 by 1.5 inches. Really nice, good size. And you're going to have a couple of napkins. You're going to have a couple pieces of napkins here. This is the Bless This Home. All right, one for the front, one for the back. And then you're also going to have these adorable little spring gardening things. I'm going to collage. I love to collage napkins. I like to take bits and pieces from different napkins and put them together to make my own unique art. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing on our house tonight. So the other things in your kit, you're going to have this adorable, sweet, this is wired ribbon. It's got this pretty little white little Swiss dot on it. So you'll have all the ribbon you need in your kit. You're also going to have a couple other things here. Let me pull these apart. You're going to have some of this kind of, I would consider it like a wrapped jute. It's kind of like a rope, but it's soft. Okay. Really, really pretty. You're going to have that for your house. And then you're also going to have just some thin jute. Okay. In your kit. And then these lovely flowers. You're going to have 2 of these lovely little flowers that we're going to be playing with. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and scoot these contents out of the way. You can't wait to get yours. Yay. We have tons and tons of shipments going out this week, like a ton. And I apologize that we didn't get them out sooner. But like I said, we had the wedding last week. It just kind of, you know, everything had to stop. Everything had to stop for a little bit. Get my boy married, all that fun stuff. But the girls at the shop are working so hard to catch up on orders, get everything out so that, you know, all of these orders can get out this week. Okay. We're doing our very best to get them out. So I'm ready to get started. What about y'all? Are you ready? Okay. I'm glad that a lot of you pre-ordered. I don't know how long, how long we'll have kits. We are producing a ton of them. But a lot of people are ordering things right now for gifts for Mother's Day and things like that. So thank you for sprinkling. Thank you. Oh, good. Did you have to block somebody? Okay. I didn't even see that. Thank you. Yeah. If y'all see somebody, a nasty old troll in here, I'll try to watch for it, but yeah, definitely block them. Thank you for that. Okay. Yes, again, I apologize for the screen. This is just how it has to be tonight. So I'm sorry about that. Okay. Just expand it to expand it so that you can see as best you can. And maybe you can watch the replay on your laptop or something bigger. Okay. All right, here we go. The very first thing we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and get going on my project here, is I'm going to paint it. I'm painting the whole entire wood house with a beautiful chalk paint that's called Simplicity. Y'all, it's just pure white. So just solid white is what I'm using. I'm going to come in and paint the sides first. I like to paint the sides first because then I can set it down. And it doesn't have to be a super great paint job. The main reason we're painting it is because when you use napkin tissue, the napkin tissue is really, really sheer. Okay, it's really, really sheer. And the wood grain would show through. Now that's a cool look sometimes, but I don't want that to happen tonight. So tonight I'm going to paint this out. Y'all let me know if you see any more trolls. All right. So I'm just going to get this painted out really quickly. One coat will do it and dry it. And then we're going to start napkinizing this wood house. That is my word for anything that I alter with a napkin. So how are y'all this week? Anybody been crafting this week? What kind of crafts do you like to do? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to know. I myself like to make all kinds of things. I'm a serial crafter. I just love to create. I love to make. So my hands kind of dabble in lots of things. But of course, one thing I really, really love is napkins. Okay, Patricia, no problem. The issue's on my end because I'm going live I'm on my iPad tonight. And I'm streaming through StreamYard, so. All right, so I'm just drying this, basically just drying it enough that I can turn it over. So I'm going to turn it over. And paint this side. I'm looking at your comments on my phone also. You love to collect craft supplies? Yeah. I think all of us are a little bit of a collector at heart. I've got my phone over here so I can see your comments better. Thank you for sprinkling. It's been good to get back to crafting this week. Get back into my normal routine. You know what? That's a good question, Marcia. We don't have a subscription for the decor kits as of right now. It's something that you're not the first one to ask. We have had multiple people ask because they want to make sure that they get one every time one comes out. So I will definitely be considering that in the future. But for right now, it's not a subscription. It's just you can order it if you want it or pass on it if you don't. But thank you for voicing that because we have had several people ask that. You're stitching? Oh, I did. I posted just a few pictures on, honestly, I have so many pictures on my phone. And I just need to go through them and kind of, because I know I've got a lot of duplicates because we were all kind of airdropping to each other what everybody had taken. So now I've got like a cajillion pictures. And of course there was a photographer, and it'll be a while before we get those pics back. But yeah, I'm hoping this weekend to have some time to really sort through them. And I'll try to make a little photo video or something for y'all, a little gallery to post for y'all if you want to look and see. Okay, so I'm fully painted, right? That was super easy. Fully painted, ready to go here. Let me cover up my paint. Again, just a white, just a solid white. White is nice with when you're napkin crafting. And one reason it's nice is because it's like if you had a flashlight or a spotlight, right? Shining through your napkin. It just really pops the colors and makes them very, very bright and very vivid. So again, a little bit of napkin art 101. If I decided to paint this a dark color, that dark color would come through my napkin tissue and it just wouldn't look good, right? It just wouldn't look good. So we're going to start with this napkin. Place that right there. We're going to start with this napkin first. So bless this home. You're going to open it up. You're going to have two panels of it. And I'm going to take my scissors and just cut these in half. Okay. I'm going to cut them in half and then I'm going to separate them. Now, my method for separating a napkin is what I call the lick and stick method. Okay. Works great for me. I'm just going to tap my finger on my tongue and my thumb. And then just tap those fingers together just until it feels a little sticky, kind of maybe just a little bit sticky, and then really press your fingers together and look what happens. Oh, it helps take the plies apart. The napkins in your kit, just so you know, they are 3-ply. They're 3-ply napkins. So what does that mean? That means you've got to take 2 layers off. You've got to take 2 layers off. Okay. It's really important to get those layers off because if you don't and you go to decoupage this napkin tissue, what happens is the minute you start kind of going over it with the Mod Podge, the top tissue tries to lift off. It tries to lift away. And that's the tissue you want. That's the tissue that has the artwork on it. Yes, lick and stick. Lick and stick is what I call it. Oh, I love seeing all the different crafts that y'all like to do. I see a lot of you are like me. We like to do a little bit of everything. I love that. Okay, so I have the plies off now. I'm going to go ahead and move this. I just put this little mat out here while I was painting. So I'll move that. So the next thing I'm going to be using is Mod Podge Matte. M-A-T-T-E, Mod Podge Matte. You'll recognize it by the yellow label. Y'all, I am not a fan of glossy. Don't get the glossy Mod Podge. I wish they'd just stop selling it. The problem with the glossy Mod Podge, and I think the glossy comes in I think it has kind of a red label, I think, or red orange kind of label. The problem with it is anything I have ever used that I've used the glossy on, it always feels sticky. It always feels tacky or sticky, even months after it's been drying, right? Like months, I can go back in and touch it and feel sticky. And if I have to lift something off of a table and I can feel it kind of grab, I don't want that. I don't want that. So I really prefer with napkin art to use the matte, which is the yellow label. It's got a nice kind of a satin finish to it. And it's perfect. It's just beautiful. It's perfect. Okay, I'm going to be using just a regular paintbrush. Okay, just a regular paintbrush. And then there's a couple different methods here that you can use when you're doing what we call the wet method is what I'm about to do. So I'm going to use a paintbrush to apply the Mod Podge. Here's a chip brush that I can use to pounce the napkin in place. But I thought tonight I might show you another way, okay? If you use the chip brush like this, sometimes you get some texture. Now, I love texture, so it does not bother me at all. But if it does bother you and you prefer not to you prefer it to be as smooth as possible, right? There's a great way that you can smooth out your napkin by using some saran wrap, which is just a plastic wrap. It doesn't have to be saran wrap, just some sort of plastic wrap. So I thought I would show y'all that tonight. So I'm putting a nice healthy layer of Mod Podge on this front side of this house, okay? Now, what do I mean by healthy? Healthy means it needs to look wet. Don't be chintzy with your Mod Podge. You want to make sure that you've got plenty on your brush. I'm going to kind of move this around just a little bit. Okay, that looks good. That is looking good right there. Now, if I was doing the normal method, wet method, I would take my chip brush right now and start pouncing, okay? But sometimes that creates some texture. So I'm going to just tear off a little bit of saran wrap, okay? This is just regular saran wrap, plastic wrap. It can be any kind of brand, whatever you have. And I'm going to lay it right over my napkin. And I'm going to start smoothing it from the center to the outside edge, okay? The center to the outside edge. And it's going to be nice and smooth. It's going to be nice and smooth. Now, your wood, the wood grain has a little bit of texture, but that's okay because we want this to look like it's ingrained into the wood, right? Like that's what we want. That's our goal. So I'm just going to smooth. Again, start at the center and kind of smooth out. And just know that in this smoothing process, sometimes the, oh, good, Vicki, good. I'm glad you got your notification. Sometimes the Mod Podge kind of seeps through. Remember, this tissue is really, really thin, okay? So when you get ready to take this off, I want you to take it off carefully, just slowly, carefully, kind of like you're sliding it off. And I don't know if you can see this, but do you see that there is some Mod Podge on there? Right? So you're going to be really careful when you slide this off. All right. Now, when you get your napkin on, I just want to show you, I've kind of centered this, right? You can see that you're going to lose a little bit of this bird's tail right there, but that's okay. So I just kind of centered it on. Do you see how you're going to be missing this little tip right there? That little tiny tip right there. So this is what you're going to do. You're just going to take your scissors and cut off a corner. Okay, just cut off a corner. Go back, add a little Mod Podge in case you think it's dried. And we're going to patch it. We're just doing a little patch. Just a little patchwork. Take my corner of my, there we go. So don't think that you've done anything wrong. You haven't done anything wrong. It's just the size of the block and the size of the napkin, the size of the house and the size of the napkin. So just trim off a little corner and patch that up. Now I'm going to dry it. And then once it's dry, I'm going to sand off the excess. Thank y'all so much for sprinkling. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. That's awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. So when you're sanding it off, gosh, you could do lots of different things. You could use like a little file, like a sanding file. You could use a piece of sandpaper. This is just a foam sanding block. And remember, the tissue is very thin, so it's going to be very, very easy to sand off. It's just going to come right off the edge. Now, I dried it first, y'all. I dried it first because if you try to take off the excess while the Mod Podge is still kind of wet, it can tear. And so we don't ever want that to happen. So it's just a good idea to dry it and then come back in and sand it. So you can see there's nothing going around the edges. It's just on this front side. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. Same exact way. Where will the video be saved? Okay, that's a really good question, Linda. The replay is going to be saved right here on my page. And what I'm going to do is after this is over tonight, I'm going to pin it. I'm going to pin it to the top of the page. So it will be right here. So if you come to my page, it'll be really easy for you to find. Also, when we ship out your kit, okay, when we ship your kit out, we're going to be sending you a link in an email to this Facebook Live. So it'll go straight to it and just make it really, really easy for y'all. Because you will want to watch it again if you order a kit, you're definitely going to want to watch it again when you get your kit. And then you can just kind of fast forward to the parts you need to see. All right. So again, just going to kind of slide this down. I've got that little teeny tiny tip up there. I'm going to go ahead while my Mod Podge is wet and go ahead and put this little corner piece up here. That way I don't have to add more Mod Podge. Do that while it's wet. I'm going to go back and grab my saran wrap. Now, if my saran wrap is already dry, like this Mod Podge that was on here is already completely dry, so I can use the same piece again. If it's still wet, just grab another piece. Okay, just grab another piece. And then I'm just going to smooth. Really fun to do this technique, especially when you're putting a napkin on something that's flat. Okay, very, very easy. Don't try to do it without the saran wrap, though, or your napkin will tear. Okay, it will tear because your hands will get stuck with the Mod Podge and it will just make a mess. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to take the saran wrap again, and again, just be careful. Just be gentle, careful. That Mod Podge kind of seeps through a little bit, and just slide it off. Okay, so you're sliding. Don't go ripping it off. Just slide it off. All right. And we're going to dry it again. So a little bit of what you're seeing tonight is just like the 101, just a little taste of some of the techniques that I share in my napkin club. So if you're interested in napkin art and learning more about that, I'll post a link here in a little bit for information about the napkin club. We are operating off of a wait list right now for the napkin club, but I highly recommend that you get on it because as spots open, or as I open new spots, as we create more spots, it's the wait list is where I go first to fill. I fill from the wait list first. Okay, it's pretty good and dry. In fact, I'll post that for y'all right now, because I would love for you to come and join us. I'm doing a live reveal of the May napkins on Friday morning. So if you want to come and watch, that's going to happen right here on my page. I'll make sure I'm on full screen. Okay. Okay, and I'll put this in the comments. Okay, so what I'm posting right now is a link to get on the wait list for the Napkin Club. Okay? Thank you again for sprinkling, y'all. That's so exciting. And again, just going to come in and remove this excess napkin. I think this napkin is so pretty. I love the colors in it. Okay, so now we've got it on both sides. Y'all, I like to decorate. I know a lot of kids don't always give you something to decorate the back, but I like to decorate both sides because, especially if you're going to put this on a tiered tray or on a shelf, or on like a, side table or something, I like for things to look pretty no matter what angle somebody's seeing it, right? Like I just really like that. Okay, so we're going to start now doing some decoupage, okay? Yes, I will need to seal this, but because I'm putting on some other napkin pieces, I'm going to wait and seal it all after the other pieces are on, okay? Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to try to watch for y'all's questions. If I miss your question, just post it again, okay? Yes, Sally, all of the house kits are going to be, they're in the process of being shipped out. I know some shipped out today. It'll be happening all week, okay? All right, so here we go. Now is the fun part, all right? So let me show you the sample again. So obviously you can see Bless This Home, but look at all this other stuff. Look at the watering can. Look at the terracotta pots. That's what we're going to add. So I'm going to start with the watering can. Actually, I think I'll start with the watering can and this little terracotta piece, this little kind of the terracotta piece that's laying down. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is what I'm calling to start is I'm just kind of cutting out the section that I want. Okay, I want the watering can. I want those little pots that are laying down. That's the first part I want. Now I'm going to, because this has a light background on it, I'm going to come in and I'm just going to kind of do what I call a loose fussy cut. So what is a loose fussy cut? Well, a loose fussy cut is, I'm not trying to grab like everything. It's almost like I'm bubbling around, right? I'm kind of bubbling around some of this stuff here. I'm going to kind of cut into these tulips. I'm going to lose one of these tulips here. It's just kind of, I don't think I need all of those tulips. All right, so you see that? Just kind of a loose fussy cut. You don't have to go into every nook and cranny and every detail because a lot of this, again, it's being collaged, so it's going to kind of go on and kind of blend in together. So what I want to happen is I want it to look like this bird, this little bird right over here. Oh no, sorry, I'm on the wrong side. This little bird right here, I want it to look like it's sitting kind of on top of the handle of the watering can. Okay, that's what I want. So that is exactly where I'm going to put this. Now I'm going to do something else here just real quick. It's very, very easy to do. I don't want anybody to think that this is hard because it's not. Sometimes when you collage, sorry, I'm looking for something. Sometimes when you collage napkins on top of napkins, you have to think it through, because if you put one napkin, remember the tissue is really sheer. So if I put it on top of something else, whatever's on the bottom is going to show through it. Now, luckily for me, this napkin's very soft. It's very soft. It's not like it's really bright and dark and all those things. But when I put the watering can on, and it's going to kind of go off the edge here just a little bit, you can see that I'm going to try to hold it up where you can see. Do you see where the spout is? Right where my finger is. Do you see there's that really bright rose right there? Do you see? Now, if I put this on right there, that rose is going to come right through the handle of this watering can and it's going to distort it. It's not going to look normal. It's not going to look right. Everything else is very soft colors. It's going to be just fine. But this little rose right here is a little too intense. So this is what I'm going to do, y'all. I'm going to do it with my finger, but you can do it with a paintbrush. Okay, it's okay. I'm going to just dip my fingertip into this paint, and I'm going to come in and I'm just going to finger paint on top of this rose. That's it. Really super simple. Very, very super simple. Just a little bit. I just want to soften it. You don't have to cover it up completely. Okay, oops, I got a little outside the lines there. You don't have to cover it up completely, but do you see the difference? Look at it here, right? Look at it there. I'm softening it. I'm softening it. If I don't want any of it to show, I mean, I can really come in and be more intense with my paint, but I really don't have to be. I just want to soften that up. Okay, just going to soften it up with a little bit of paint. And you don't have to use your finger. I just do because, I don't know, I craft with my fingers all the time. You can use a paintbrush. And then I want you to come in and dry it. Okay? Really super simple. Okay, so now that I've done that, everybody get that? Do y'all understand that? Okay? Okay. I'm trying to watch for your questions. So what I'm going to do now is, well, first I got to separate the napkin. Got to remember to separate that napkin. And again, it's going to have 3 plies. Most of the time, the better napkins do have 3 plies. And sometimes you'll get lucky and both plies will come off at the same time. I got lucky that time. All right, so I'm going to take my Mod Podge now. And I'm going to put it in this area. Don't worry about where it stops and starts because we're going to put a coat of it over the whole thing to seal it here in just a little bit when we get this part done. And I'm going to lift this up just a little bit. Perfect. Oh, it looks so cute. And then lay this down. Now this part, I'm just going to go back to just doing it my normal way. Yes, you can use the saran wrap if you want to, but I want you to see both ways. So I'm just taking my chip brush. This is just a natural bristle brush. Nothing's on it. It's dry, completely dry. And I'm just going to pounce. I'm going to pounce up and down, up and down, up and down. And I think I need a little more Mod Podge. Yeah, I didn't get quite enough underneath the spout of the watering can. Perfect. And it is hanging off the edge. Okay, it's kind of hanging off the edge there. So I'm going to dry it. Isn't that cute? I like the little bird looking like, you know, he looks now like he's perched on top of the handle of the watering can. So cute. Yeah, everything you need is in this kit. Thank you, Stephanie. Everything you need is in this kit except for your paint, anything that's wet, basically. Your paint, your Mod Podge, hot glue. And then I am going to do some pen work. Pen work is optional, but gosh, it's so pretty. It's so, so pretty. And then I'm going to sand that side off. Okay. Isn't it cute? But do you see by softening that flower behind there, I can now really still see the watering can spout, right? If I hadn't, it would look really distorted because that rose would really be showing through. Okay. Cheryl, have I quit doing lines of various different projects? No, we still do. I do certain things in the clubs, but we also do things just like this that we sell just kits for. And I also have some other online workshops that are apart from the clubs. Okay. So now I want this other little birdie right here. I want this other little birdie right here to have something. And so I'm going to go to the other part of this napkin. So let me show you. By cutting out the watering can, do you see how it kind of went up into this pot? Well, I really like this pot. So I'm going to come and cut this pot over here on this side. That's why we gave you 2 pieces of this napkin, because I wanted to use some of both. And because of how this napkin is, you kind of have to cut into certain pieces to get certain things. So again, loosely, just a loose fussy cut around this terracotta pot with these pretty flowers in it. So almost done here. I'm not going to worry too much about the side because that's going to go over the edge. All right, so do you see what I mean? Just kind of cutting into that. This part right here, that's the spout of the other watering can, right? So, but it's going to be okay because it's going to go down here and you're never going to see it. Now this area where this piece is going, where this terracotta pot, this little flower pot is going, there's nothing that's going to really show through it. So I don't have to paint anything. I don't have to go in and cover or touch up anything because it's all kind of going in this light area right here. Okay. So nothing to have to cover up. I'm going to go straight on with my Mod Podge. And then I'm just going to kind of play around with my placement here of my little flowering pot. So cute. So now this bird looks like it's perched in the flower pot. See that? Isn't that darling? Y'all can do this. This is not hard. You can so do this, and it's so much fun. So much fun to create with napkins. Yes, I'm going to show you the pen work. Don't worry. I'm going to show that to you here in just a minute. Perfect. So now that's all I'm going to add to this side. I've got my watering can. I've got my little terracotta pots, my little flowering pots. Super cuteness, right? So cute. So now I'm going to go over to the back side. And I want you to see what I added on the back side. I love the rain boots. I thought the rain boots were adorable. So I'm going to add the rain boots for that bird to perch on. And then this little basket of flowers for the other bird to perch on. Okay. Again, it's all right here. All right here on your napkins. I love the little garden gloves kind of flopped over the rain boots. So cute. So this is the first piece I'm going to add. And we're going to look at it, and we're going to, everything should be fine on this one. Nothing to cover up. Don't need any paint. It's going to be just fine. Let's take off our napkin plies. And y'all, if the lick and stick method is hard for you, if it doesn't work for you, you can always use a little bit of washi tape or painter's tape. Sometimes even just using a pin, just a straight head pin, will help. All right, let me get rid of some of this excess napkin here. So how many of you have ordered a kit already? I know several of you did when we first posted it. Y'all are gonna love this one. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. So, all right, so I'm gonna put on my rain boots here. I want I want the bird to look like it's just kind of perched right there on top of the rain boots. And it is going to overlap the edge a little bit, just a little bit. That's great, girls. Thank you. Thank y'all for ordering. Thank you, Vicki. It can be hard, Marianne. Marianne says it's hard to choose images on napkins like that. It really can be. And that's why I love that when you get a napkin, like if you're a member of the napkin club and you get a napkin, you're getting 4 images, right, in one napkin. So then I feel better about cutting into a part of it because I know I still have the other sections of the napkin. Makes it a little easier. All right, let's dry this little section so I can sand this off. Marsha ordered hers. Awesome. Diane's waiting for hers to come. So cute. Isn't that so cute? I know I keep saying cute, but it's just because it is. It just is so cute. Okay, so I want to use the basket now. I'm going to use the basket here that has these flowers in it. So I'm going to cut in from up here. Now, some of this is going to hang off the edge. So let me first just kind of get this part fussied around. You're going to have extra pieces too. You'll have extra pieces because some of you might want different parts. Okay, so it's going to go on about like that. All right, so I don't really have to worry about this right here. I'm going to go up around the handle and then just loosely kind of bubble around the flowers and the leaves. A little pair of detail scissors will be handy for this, like what I'm using right now, the little detail scissors, little ones. That's much easier to do little detail cutting than trying to use big scissors. Yes, it's $15 plus shipping is the price. Thank y'all for answering questions for me. Okay, I think I got both layers off. Yes. Now I have the rose over here, but because of the way this is going to go on, I don't really have to worry about that rose. It's going to be okay. I'm going to have some green leaves kind of going over it. It's going to be just fine. We do have, are you talking about pictures? I see somebody's chatting about pictures. I do post pictures of the finished project. Yeah, they're posted here on my page. And you know what, girls, y'all tell me this while I have you here. I mean, if it's easier, or if you would like to have, I do, for some of my projects, I make what I call a blueprint guide. And a blueprint guide is basically just a little instructional sheet that you could actually print off that has the pictures on it, and it just has step-out instructions rather than coming to watch the video link. If that's something you think you would prefer, just let me know. It's not going to be any problem for me to create that, and we can email that to you after, when you make your purchase. We can email everybody at one time if you like that. All right, there we go. See how cute? Oh, the little flowers there. All right, so that is the end of my collaging. Are there more pieces you could add on? Yes, but I didn't. This is the extent of what I wanted to add. I wanted my birds to look like they were perched on things, right? The watering can, the little flowering basket. the rain boots, and the little terracotta flower pot. Okay, so now what I have to do now is I've got to seal my project. I have to seal my project. As pretty as it is, I have to remember it's just a napkin. It's just a very thin napkin tissue. So I'm going to seal it by just coming back with my Mod Podge, okay, with my Mod Podge mat, and I'm just going to put a nice thin coat over the top of it. Just a nice thin coat. Not going to take it any time to dry, but this is going to help to seal it and protect it. And that's important. We want our projects to last. We want our projects to hold up. So just a nice thin coat. You don't need to put it anywhere but where your napkin is. And it's going to be milky. You can kind of see that. It's going to be kind of milky looking, but it will dry crystal clear. Okay, Phyllis says she would like a blueprint guide, an instruction guide. I think that is helpful because I can put some close-up pictures in that for you. I'll be happy to do that. I'll do it tonight. I'll write it up tonight. Okay. And then you'll have no problem because you can always come back and watch this replay. And then you'll have that to go by with pictures and things as well. Okay, so you can see it's kind of milky. It's going to have to dry. Now, I'm going to speed it along just because I'm doing this live with you and I don't, I want to be a good steward of your time. So I'm going to take my heat gun and just kind of dry at this because the next thing I want to do is to show you the pen work. Okay, I'm kind of sort of I like pen work. I do. I'm kind of addicted. Like I've gotten you. I just really like adding that little handmade touch to pieces. I don't do it everywhere. I don't do it on everything, but it can just really make a difference in making something stand out. And so what I like to use for that are Pitt Pens, P-I-T-T, Pitt Pens. And I can post a link for the ones that I use. They are my all-time favorite. They come in a set of 4. And in the set of 4, the reason there's 4 is because you get different size nibs. There's an extra small, a medium, and then also a brush tip. And so they're just great because they're made for mixed media, number 1. So what does that mean? That means they play nicely with other mediums. Okay, that means they can write over paint and they can write over watercolor and gelatos and Mod Podge and all the things that I love to do, all the things I love to craft and make and do. So they're just perfect for that. They are steadfast. That's another reason I love them. So what does that mean? That means once they're dry, they're steadfast. They're not going to react to water again. So if I decide to sparkle over something, right? Or I decide I want to add another little piece of napkin and I need to Mod Podge over something, right? It's not going to smear. It's not going to bleed. So they are awesome. Yes, they're Pitt Pens. And I have a link here saved. So let me post that for you. Best investment you'll make, I promise. They are so awesome. And if anybody here is watching that's in my napkin club that has them, they'll testify to that. They are awesome. So let me grab that here for you real quick. Pitt Pens, P-I-T-T. And I use them, they cross over into all of my crafting. Okay? So if you're looking for a good mixed media pens, they're great. They're great. Okay, I just posted the link for you. Now, when you do pen work on top of napkin art, you have to seal the napkins first. Okay? It's really important. you have to seal the napkins first. You have to put a coat of Mod Podge on them, or if you want to use a spray sealer, like a clear coat spray sealer, you can. Because here's the deal: if you don't, and then you go to draw or do your pen work on your napkin, a napkin's purpose in life is to absorb. So if my ink hits the napkin, it's going to try to absorb it. So it's not going to be as crisp of a line. It's going to look kind of blurry and smudgy because the napkin's trying to absorb it. So you want to make sure that you've sealed your napkin before you do any kind of pen work. This is what the pens look like. They just look like that. That's two of them. This is the small and the medium. You can see they're marked on the top there. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to make sure it's dry. It needs to be completely dry. You don't want to gunk up the nibs of your pens. Okay. Now let's say you get to you thought it was all dry and you get to a spot that was just kind of still a little bit tacky. Grab a baby wipe and just clean the nib of your pen because you don't want that to dry on there. Okay. All right. They make such a difference. Okay. So I'm going to do a little bit of pen work here because I want you to see, well, first let me just show you the difference. Okay. So this is no pen work. Okay. No pen work. Just focus on the watering can. No pen work. This is with pen work. Do you see the difference? Let's see if I can hold them up here at the same time so you can kind of see them both. Right? No pen work with pen work. It really makes things pop. Let's look at the back. The rain boots. No pen work with pen work. See the difference? No pen work with pen work. It just really makes the artwork pop. And I love it because it's easy. This is not something that's hard to do. And you can decide which size, nib or which size pin, which size nib that you want to use. I'm going to use the small on this one. And I'm going to come in and y'all, my style of pen work is like doodle tracing. Okay. Doodle tracing. So I'm kind of loosely kind of tracing over some of the images. I don't have to trace everything. And I try to do it kind of fast because believe it or not, it's cuter when it's not perfect. It looks better when it's got a little bit of that hand, it has more character, right? That hand. I don't know. How do I explain that? Hand drawn kind of look. It's a little more doodly, a little more artsy. So we'll call it a doodle trace. I'm just going to kind of come around. You can come in here and do some of the leaves if you want. I personally think the faster you go, the better it looks because you're not thinking. When you start thinking, it kind of gets in the way. So see the little leaves, the little flowers down there at the bottom of the watering can? All right. I can come up into the watering can. I can do some of these leaves. You can add little lines if you want to. It's okay if your pen work gets outside of the line a little bit. It's just kind of a fun, artsy, doodly look. And it brings back a little more of a handmade feel. And I think that's why I like it so much. So I'm going to go around my tulips in here. And again, it's a lot of people kind of overthink this, and I don't want you to overthink it. You're just adding a little accent. Okay, look at the flowers in the watering can. All right. And again, I don't have to add it everywhere. It's totally up to you. In fact, I kind of like it when it's just kind of in some spots and not in some spots, like the things that you want to really stand out even more. If you want to do some of the leaves up here, you can, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do all of the flowers, right? And then some of you may not want to do this step at all. You may be happy and want to just leave it just as it is. and it's totally up to you. Okay, I did a little bit on the bird, going up into that leaf, but it just makes things pop. It just really makes things pop, and I love it. I love it. How do you know how much or how little pin work to do? Okay, Patricia, that's a really good question. I think you start with the items that are like focal points. Like, what is the focal point for me on this? Well, I want it to be the birds. I want it to be the watering can. I want it to be the rain boots, right? Start with like your focal points, like the key things that like your favorite things maybe. And then just look at it. Don't look at it like up close like this. Literally, like hold it out from you. Look at it. Even if you have to sit it on a shelf and just stand back from it a little bit. And a lot of times your eye will just kind of tell you like, oh, I want this flower up here needs to stand out, right? So that's what I do. I kind of start with my key focal points that I really want to pop. And then I just kind of look at it. I put it back from me. A lot of times we're crafting, we have it right here in front of our face, and we need a little space. We need a little bit of space. So let me go ahead and draw some attention on this one. Again, you can see the bird, this flower pot, right? The leaves. But look, I don't have pin work here or here or here, right? You get to kind of pick and choose what you want. The key parts, obviously this little basket. Look how cute that basket looks with the little pin work on it and all the little posies in there, the little flowers. So that's the best advice I can give you on that. I hope that helps. Now, you don't have to seal it after you do your pen work. You don't have to do a thing. You don't have to go back in and seal it or spray it or anything, because these guys are steadfast. They're permanent. Once they're dry, they're permanent. They're not going to react with moisture. If you need to clean them, they're not going to react with anything. So again, another reason why I love these pens. Okay, I love these pens. Okay, so I'm not going to finish. I think you get the gist on the pen work. I'm not going to keep doing that. I'm going to let y'all play with that. And again, if that's just not your thing, it's okay. Your piece is going to look beautiful without it. Nobody will ever know that you didn't add pen work, right? Nobody's going to know that. So the next thing I want to show you is how to finish it off. I love adding what I call the frills, right? I like adding the frills. That's the fun part. So I'm going to take my house now. Actually, I need to plug in my glue gun. I'm going to plug in my glue gun. I'm going to use my glue gun for this part. While that's heating up, let me just look. Do y'all have any questions on this? I hope that helped, Patricia. I hope that answer helped. Let's see. I'm kind of scrolling back. I'm glad y'all like it. Yeah, it does make a difference. Look at y'all. Yep. Pitt pens are great. Yes, for fabric and scrapbooking. I saw your comment here. I use them in that's one thing I love. I love to find products as a crafter, as a maker. I love to find products that will work for anything that I do. And that's what those Pitt pens are. They will work for anything that I do. I don't want to have a set of pens just for this and another set of pens just for that and another set of pens for something else. So they're great. And like I said, they're made for mixed media, which means they play nicely with all other kinds of mediums. Okay. All right. So let's move on. We've got our pretty little Swiss dot here, pretty ribbon here. We've got some jute here, and we've got our ropey stuff here. And I'm going to go ahead and get out the little flowers. Now, these little flowers actually have wires. They have a wire stem. So I want you to untwine them if they're twined. Mine are kind of wrapped together here. Okay, can you see that? They have like a wire stem. See the wire stem there? And so what I want you to do is just take like a paintbrush. You can take the end of a paintbrush, something thin, and we're gonna we're going to wrap or coil this wire around the paintbrush. See, just like that. And then you're going to take it off, and it's going to give you this pretty little kind of corkscrew looking thing. And then what I like to do is then pull the corkscrew out. I like to kind of loosen it up, but it just looks like a pretty kind of viney thing for the flower. And if your flowers are smushed, they're paper flowers, so you can just kind of, you can crump, you know, you can mess with them and fluff them back up. And so I've coiled it, and then I'm just going to kind of pull it out, kind of loosen up that corkscrew a little bit. All right, so we're going to put the ribbon on the sides of the canvas. And y'all, this ribbon is like the perfect width. It's just awesome. It's so pretty. I love the color, was just perfect. And I'm a sucker for dots. I love anything with dots. And it has this pretty little Swiss dot on there, a little tiny dot. So what's going to happen is we're going to start our house on its side. I'm not putting ribbon on the bottom of the house. I'm not putting ribbon on the bottom of the house. I want to make sure this house is going to stand nice and level. I like to put my pieces like this, my chunky houses, I like to put them on risers sometimes on different things. And I've found that they don't always stand well when something's on the bottom of them. So I'm actually going to start right here on the side. Okay. I'm using hot glue for this. You can use whatever preferred adhesive you want. I'm going to use hot glue. I have a precision tip on my glue gun. And that's important because I can control how much glue goes out. So I'm just got a little tiny, basically just running a line of glue right here at the bottom. Okay. And this ribbon, the little finished edges, right? The little finished edges are going to go just right past the edge of the house. It's perfect. I could not have picked it to fit more perfectly. Okay. So I'm going to use this phrase with you. Okay. We're going to drizzle and drag. Everybody, can you say that? Drizzle and drag with your hot glue. Now I've got a precision tip, which is small, but even if you have a thicker, like a thicker or a wider glue tip, whatever you call this thing, right? You're going to drizzle some out, and then I want you to drag through it. By dragging through it, it's moving it around so it's nice and thin. So I'm going to drizzle and drag. And actually, I kind of drizzle and drag at the same time. So my tip is touching my wood block. So as I'm drizzling, I'm dragging through it, and it thins it out, because I don't want one big lumpy line of glue underneath this. Okay. I use a little bit more glue right on the edges, just like right there when it kind of goes across the edge. But I'm drizzling and I'm dragging, drizzling and dragging. And by dragging through the glue, just makes it really nice and thin. Okay. Really, really nice and thin. You don't see any glue. You don't see any lines coming through. Can you hear it? You can probably hear my glue gun dragging on the wood. And I'm going to bring it all the way around, except for I'm just about out of glue sticks. So let me stick another glue stick in here. A little bit more right there. It was almost out. Here we go. So again, drizzle and drag. I want it to be thin. And work in small sections at a time. Now at the very end here where it ends, I'm going to use a little more glue. I want it to be really nice and secure right there on the end. And you're going to have some leftover. Okay. Going to have some leftover. I'm just going to cut that. I'll use my smaller scissors here so I can cut it closer. There. Okay. So now I've got the ribbon all the way around the house, right? Looks really cute. Stands up nicely. Don't have to worry about that ribbon being on the bottom of it. Now we're going to decorate. We're going to take some of this stuff, this ropey stuff. I love the texture of this. I think it's just so cute. Now this stuff can kind of come unwound, right? Because there's layers in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue gun and I'm going to put just a little bit of glue here on the end. Now you could do that with just a tacky glue if you want to. I'm using my glue gun, but did you notice I'm not grabbing it right away? I'm going to wait a second. I'm going to wait a second so it's not too hot. And then I'm going to come in and I'm just going to pinch this together. This is going to keep the ends from unraveling. Okay. So just kind of pinch that together. And I'm going to, again, start on the side of my house. And this time I'm going to do a nice line of hot glue. No drizzle and drag this time, a nice line of hot glue. And I'm going to lay my, I guess it's a rope. We'll call it rope, but it's soft. I'm going to lay my rope or my layered jute. I don't know what you want to call it, but I love it. And I'm going to run it right in the center. I'm not measuring, I'm just eyeballing. Eyeball the center, and I'm going to wrap it all the way up around. It's so pretty. It just adds a nice texture. Love texture. Okay, everybody get that part? If you signed on late, you can always go back and then watch the replay of what we've done. But I do want you to sprinkle this video out because I'm going to be putting everybody, I have a little random generator app. So anybody that shares, anybody that sprinkles out this video tonight, I will put their name in that app and then I'm going to draw a winner. One of you lucky gals is going to win a free DIY decor kit. You're going to win one of these, a Bless This Home kit. And I'm going to announce the winner tomorrow. I have another live at 7 o'clock tomorrow, so I'm going to come on right before that live, and I'll post the winner. Okay, again, you're going to have a little bit of leftover here. So take your scissors, cut that off. And again, we're going to have to, we don't want this to fray or unravel. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue in here. Wait just a second. Wait just a second. Okay, we don't want to, I don't want anybody burning their fingers. And then just go back in and press. Perfect. Perfect. Isn't that pretty? So it's just going all the way around. Now let's finish off the top. Let's finish off the top. So what I'm going to do for that is I've got this piece left, right? Got this piece left. It might be a little long, but I'm going to go ahead and just work with the length because once you put it on your house, you can always trim the tails more. And I'm going to create what I call a flag end. Some people call this a dovetail on the end of the ribbon. And the way that I do that, y'all, is I take my scissors and I cut a slit right up the center. Just eyeball the center as far as you want to go, and then cut from one corner to the top of that slit, and then the other corner to the top of that slit. And get pretty little flag tail. Okay, isn't that cute? Okay, now I'm going to use the thin jute, the pretty little thin jute here, and I'm going to double this. So what does that mean? That just means I'm going to double it. I'm just taking the ends to where they meet, just like this. And I'm going to lay it underneath my little piece of ribbon here. And I'm going to tie it off in a knot. Now, after I've tied it in a knot, I'm going to let you decide if you want to tie it into a bow. I don't know. I went back and forth on this, if I wanted a bow or not. Actually, I think I'm going to do something different. It just gets so thick that way. Let's do something different. I'll show you something different. I want you to take a small piece of this. What is that? Maybe 5 inches, 6 inches. Okay, I'm going to cut off a small piece of this. Let's just take a small piece of this to tie around the center of this ribbon. Okay, so just to make it tied off, just like that. All right. Now let's come in here and let's do kind of like a loopy, kind of a loopy bow. So instead of tying it off, I'm just gonna create like a loop and a loop and another loop. Let's see if I have enough to do a third one. Yeah, that's cute. Okay, so now these are all just loops. It's just loops, just loop, 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 kind of like a figure 8. Now remember this stuff that we had left over, right? We've got this left over. I'm going to put some glue down here on this, and I'm going to put my loops in the center of this. Okay, just basically glued my loops to the center of this. Now I'm not going to tie a knot because this stuff is really thick. So I'm going to put some glue on this side, and I'm basically just going to kind of crisscross it over. And that way I have some of this jute in my bow, and I think I really like that. I didn't do that on my original sample, but because we have it here, I think we should use it. So I'm gluing this part around it. Okay, that's all I did. You see? Just glued it around it. So it's holding those loops. I'm going to cut that end off. And let's untwine this. Let's untwine this time. Now we get all this pretty texture. That is cute. We have all this extra texture now. Okay, I love that. All right, does that make sense to y'all? Do you see what I'm talking about? I unraveled that rope, so now we have all this extra texture kind of coming out of this loopy bow. Don't worry if it looks bad. I mean, we're going to be smushing flowers on it. So it's going to be just fine. So I'm going to take this piece now, put me a nice little blob of hot glue on here. And I'm going to take advantage of everything in the kit. And we're going to glue. Now this ribbon right here is wired, which I love because you can give it some movement, right? Like you can give it some movement. If you feel like it's too long, just trim it. Okay, you can just trim it. So I've got that hot glued in place. I want this to look pretty from the front and from the back. So I'm kind of putting it on kind of at a slight angle. Can you tell that? See how it's kind of on at a slight angle? Because I want it to look pretty again from the front and the back. Now I'm going to take all of this. Let's put it on this way. Oh, I like that. Let me see, which way do I want to put it on? I need a little bit more glue in here. And y'all, you don't have to do it like this, but I just like all this extra. I like all this extra. Okay, so I'm going to put some hot glue right on top of the knot, right on that. There's a nice little blob of hot glue right there. And now I'm going to put this on top of all of that. And I'm just going to hold it for a second. I want to make sure it grabs. I love that. Kind of play with the tails, kind of move things around. That's pretty. Okay, so now that this part is on there, I'm going to take my flowers. One of them is going to kind of come here at the front, and one of them, oops, and one of them is going to come right here at the back, and I'm going to sandwich them together. Okay, does that make sense? Let's see if I can kind of hold it and show you. So they're going to sandwich together. So this center of all this loopy stuff that we just made, you're never going to see it, because I'm going to put a nice little glob of glue on the front and a nice little glob of glue on the back. And you're going to do this at the same time. Okay. You're going to take, don't worry about the little wiry thing. We can move that later, but I'm going to take these at the same time, and I'm going to squish. I'm going to squish them together. Just kind of squish it, hold it. We can come back and fluff the flowers out here in just a second. And then it's going to look so pretty from both sides. So we can kind of fluff those. I love it. And then you can move your little wire, you know, wherever you want it to be. Isn't that just the cutest? I think that's so cute. Do you see what I'm talking about? So you got all this loopy stuff up here, all this texture, right? You've got your pretty ribbon here, but your flowers, you're kind of are sandwiching together. Let me show you on this one too. Do you see how you're sandwiching them together? So you're not going to see the center. You're not going to see the center at all, right? And then it looks pretty from this side, and it looks pretty from that side. That's the whole goal. I wanted it to look pretty from both sides. And I think that looks awesome. You come in there and kind of fluff your flowers up a little bit. They get kind of smushed when you're smushing them, but they hold their shape really well. Just go in and fluff it up. I think they're adorable. Aren't they cute, y'all? And again, if you feel like your ribbon is too long, just kind of give it some movement, like kind of, you know, ripple it, you know, give it some movement. I think they're just adorable. I think they're so cute. So again, if we do sell these little risers, this is the small candlestick. There's also one this is like 2 inches. I think the other one's 4. But look how cute they look when you put them on top of something, right? They look so cute. Okay, so there you can kind of see both sides, both houses. Aren't they fun? They're so fun, y'all. And everything I've shown you tonight is something that you can do. This is not hard. This is something that you can do. And if you really enjoy yourself and you have a good time with it, then it might be a little clue that maybe you might want to learn a little more about napkin art, because oh my gosh, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. There's so many things that we can do with napkin art, and I would love to share and show you that.